The health and wellness folks are going to be upset at me. Listen, yeah, I don't do any drugs. I don't smoke. I just eat sweets to handle
I
with stress.
do
That's
sweets
me.
until 11, a lot of alcohol between 11 and 2. And then,
Okay.
all right, cool. So I don't, it doesn't mess up my sleep, guys. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Orita Podcast. We got Roman from Absolute Web, who
Hey
I
guys.
have seen on the internet for years. And I realize I think this is literally the first time we've ever talked face to face. And I know your team very well. I've seen
Yeah.
Sergio all over the place, but, excited to get your background and dive in. For those who don't know, I'm Aaron Schwartz, one of the founders of Orita. We build AI customer segmentation for a bunch of brands. But today we're talking about Absolute Web. Maybe we'll go a little into triple E. I don't know, Roman. We can
Yes.
see where we go for the next half hour. But I'd love for you to start by giving a proper introduction to yourself, your background, when you started Absolute Web, what the inspiration was, and we'll take the conversation from there.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Glad to be online on podcast. This is my second one in my career. so I'm new to this. But yeah, I started. The story is not very sexy. You know how I started. Essentially, like I was a 19-year-old kid. I was born in Soviet Union in 1979. So kind of this. I do speak Russian, and being born in Soviet Union, you know how it is. Everyone, you're suspicious of everything. Walls are listening. Even now, I'm still kind of, what's going on? Is somebody listening? I'm sure there's some people listening.
I think
But
it's the living frame behind you is what I'd be most concerned about.
yeah, no, that's been cleared. But yeah, so Soviet Union kind of. I'll explain why I kind of bring that up, because it's a different mentality. I immigrated to the United States in 96, and decided to start Absolute Web. Really, I wanted to get into technology. I wasn't into, partying, clubbing, like, how it is, Miami, 19 years old. You want to go, my peers were going to clubs, passing out, getting wasted and stuff like that. So I was kind of behind. I like technology. I realized I don't like hardware. So I went into software, and, I opened LLC. And I was like, what do I name the company? I named it Absolute Web Services, and it just, back in the days, having a company start with an A, you have an advantage. Yeah, you list alphabetically. So Yellow Pages back in the day. So many people don't even know what Yellow Pages are, but yeah, so started without much prior background or experience or education in the field. Really started the hard way. A lot of trial and error, making a lot of mistakes, and building just informational sites, getting into custom building. I tried everything, all verticals. Building sites for realtors, for attorneys, dentists, whatever you can think of. Kind of fast forward. I picked up and really, made this a career, I should say, after my son was born in 2008. So that really was a real push. So that's when I started really taking Absolute Web seriously. And just kind of fast forward how, it was growing, started at the bottom, SMBs. It was pretty hard. Being in Miami, I have to say, it is a rough place sometimes. There are a lot of suspicious people here, a lot of fake folks, crypto boys, and so on. So anyway, but so fast forward in 2012, I decided to kind of pivot and focus on e-commerce, really, because I was all over the place. I really decided the agency needed a place where we are specialists. And back then it was WordPress WooCommerce. Then Magento came into play. Magento allowed us to kind of grow fast. I'm not going to get into details. That was a big phase, building on Magento and kind of scaling the team. And then WordPress, then we got certainly Shopify, BigCommerce, and so on. So I'm kind of going to fast forward. I don't want to talk too long, but really that's very on a high level. And there's a lot more to say, certainly. So I'll get my chocolate chip cookie in the meantime. Go
I'm
ahead.
very jealous of all the sweets that you're showing me before. This is a good
So
one.
I have good sized chocolate chip cookies. I love sweets.
Hey man, in the Bay Area, we've got some pretty good bakeries, but
Okay.
they're not in my basement right now, unfortunately. It's interesting, and I love how you started. You started forever ago, right? And like you guys have kind of had this winding journey. I obviously know about you guys as an e-commerce agency. I've been in commerce since 2010 when I started my brand. I'm very curious, like, as you started to focus on e-commerce, like, and maybe not even back in 2012, but even more recently, is it Absolute Web is a great shop for people who want to migrate to Shopify? Is it you want to do everything for Shopify brands? Is it you're still across all these platforms? Like, what are the core things that you guys have been able to focus on and to your point, just like be best at?
Sure, thank you. So because I think we had experience that we go way back, so to speak, and having experience on multiple platforms, I think gives us quite an advantage because we see pros and cons of every platform. We've been through difficult times. I have to say, Magento was exciting, but it was very challenging. We scaled the team very quickly. There was a lot of need back in, I would say, 2018, and kind of Magento talent was still scarce. It was just kind of growing. So we scaled very rapidly, but it's, Magento, when Magento 2.0 came out, it was a nightmare, I have to say. There were bugs, things would not work out of the box. It was very challenging, but why I'm saying this, it really gave us kind of an advantage, going through these difficult times and really, you know, uh, uh, it was a mess. I have to say. I mean, there was so much stress. I ate so many cookies just to manage that stress. So, and when Shopify came into picture, things were just easy. Things would work, and so on. So we have a very core, strong team that's been together with us for 10 plus years. I'm very proud to say that we have very savvy core team that been through a lot. But our still core strength is engineering. So it's migrations, custom development, all kinds of problem solving around, as of today, it's about 80% of our work is around Shopify.
Okay, cool. One of the things we were talking about offline was kind of the people side of the business.
Yeah.
When you think about building your team, right? What are the core attributes you're looking for somebody to join Absolute Web? And just to be a little annoying here, given like all the changes in the ecosystem and AI, like has that been changing over the last couple of years, or is it the same core principles for building out your org?
Some things I'm going to say it's kind of cheesy, but we want to have people who are good humans, kind
Yeah,
people, right? So
it's not
I
easy.
think kindness is not an easy thing to do. And when I started, it was very difficult. At SMB, tight margins, building company, bootstrap, it was very complex. But now we're in a kind of a good position where we can be kind. And what does it mean to be kind is where we're just not always looking for more hours, try to squeeze as much. It's not about just margins and revenue. We want to add value long term, for
Yeah.
our clients. So being kind, and of course, just being kind within our team, working together. We have suites every day in the office. We have lunch every day. People work together. And a lot of our people here in Miami office have been friends for years. So it's just incredible kind of see evolution of people. Like, for example, Kyle joined, 12 years ago. And, now I saw that evolution. He has two kids. He bought an apartment, and now he became US citizen. That's huge, just everybody's legal here in Absolute,
Oh,
but no need to call ISIS. I do jokes once in a while, but but going back to Kyle, it's and I have to say, I haven't always been a great mentor or a leader. I remember Kyle told me just recently at lunch that, like, "Hey, Roman, I hated you at the beginning." And I said, "Why?" He says, "When I had problems, you just told me fix yourself." Again, I was still learning. I didn't have,
sure.
but during that evolution, and we've been through difficult times, and now these relationships, this bond that we
Mm.
have within the team translates into kind of healthy relationship with our clients.
When you think about the clients who you guys are most successful with, right? And you guys have a who's who client roster. Does that have to be a big piece of it? Is it like clients who are kind, who are open to sharing, who are open candidly to like debate, but like debate towards like a positive outcome? Or are you guys coming in and you're like, we're the subject matter experts, we're going to help you solve it? Like, what do you find maybe both like the best client relationships and also for you like the most fulfilling?
Well, again, people are important, but we're trying to help and add value and work with brands and have a healthier relationship.
Nice.
Sometimes people come in and there are difficult times in their life career, but again, we prefer to work with brands that are growing, that appreciate the value of knowledge, of quality work, of
Mm.
I mean, to this day, I have to say, I'm going to brag a little bit, but we are still very fast, quick turnaround. We're available
Mm.
and we answer after hours. And, there are a lot of things that where when I go back to and say being through difficult times is, as you know, there's scope creep, there's misunderstanding. So we really go out of our way to maybe sacrifice revenue and margins,
Mm.
but to make it right and kind of invest in long-term relationship. I don't want to invite bad revenue, but I do say that because it is reputation is everything. The word
Yeah.
gets out. So we're looking for long-term and a lot of quality, good people here at Absolute.
One of the questions I have generally is, we refer out brands to different agencies, and let's say that I'm introducing you to a 30, $50 million top line business, like a healthy business, right? Not one of your biggest, but like a company that knows what they're doing, that's scaling. What is an immediate diagnostic look like? Or what are like kind of the early discussions you're having? Is it, hey, talk to us about your long-term goals as an operator? Is it good? Let's give us everything and we're going to go do an audit. Like what's a good experience at the beginning with Absolute Web?
Well, first we have a conversation with different stakeholders, understanding, how the brand and organization is structured, what are the challenges, short term, long term, and we're just trying to tackle and provide value. So incremental steps and small steps, being consistent into getting to their goal. I still go back to to just people. And sometimes it's really asking like, how can we help you? What problems you have? Going back to kind of our services, I mean, certainly we're very experienced in UX, UI, CRO. So and marketing, we do paid media and such. But still, I have to say we're known for our top notch engineering.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, you
So
guys,
that's really core.
from the external perspective, I always think about you guys as an extraordinarily technical shop. But going to the people side, it
Yeah.
is interesting. I think probably the first time I learned about Absolute Web was because of Triple E. And so I
Yes.
think about you guys also maybe in a weird way as like a community and like a community builder and like a ecosystem builder and kind of an agency around abundance. Can you
Yeah.
talk about like what is Triple E? Can you give people who don't know and like what it's all about and how you started it too?
Absolutely. So we're based in Miami, as you know, and for many years, I mean, going back when I started, today's Miami is very different from what it was in 99. So, when COVID started, we saw that there's this lack of in-person interactions, and there's going to be a big need when we go back to being in person. So we decided to really start kind of taking the opportunity. There hasn't been and still to this day, not a good e-commerce conference, very elevated with brands that are doing 10 million plus. We decided to really take the opportunity to build a community, build a conference, annual conference here in Miami in the month of February, where, as you know, in the month of February, some places are very ugly and
No,
cold.
nobody's upset about being in
Yeah,
Miami
and
long term.
being in Miami, we always try to do it at top-notch, five-star resort, quality food, entertainment, and most importantly, our events are usually about 80% of the audience are brands. So it's never any pressured hard selling. As you know, sometimes when you're a brand and walking on the exhibition hall at Shop Talk, you're targeted. So we constantly hear praises like, "Hey guys, I felt so comfortable having conversations with SaaS partners, and it was just a very open and productive conversation. So that's how Triple E kind of was born. We just had our fifth year. It was at Ritz-Carlton, Key Biscayne. It was in February. So really, there's a lot of good things about the conference. You can hear it yourself, but we're excited. This is, it's working. We have a good confirmation, good traction, and we're excited to continue.
Yeah. I think one of the hard parts about being a brand when you're at that conference hall is you just want to turn your badge around so nobody sees you and they don't hawk you. And as a scrappy entrepreneur, I may or may not sometimes get a free badge from a brand and people come up to me. I'm like, I'm not the brand. I'm sorry, guys. And it is very powerful to break people's
Yeah,
hearts that way.
yeah,
So I definitely empathize with it. I want to turn a little bit kind of towards what's happening in the ecosystem right now, even just like changes in shopping behavior. You guys are this deeply technical team. You work with big brands.
yeah,
Obviously, you're fixing like core infrastructure issues, but you also mentioned CRO. Is
yeah.
there are there like fundamental changes at this point right now on the tech side, or is it actually always goes back to the fundamentals of like talk to the customer, like really deep customer empathy? Like how are you thinking about changes in technology as, for the future of your customers?
Yeah, I think we hear so much talk about AI. There's nothing new that I'm going to say. It's just it's still being for us is constantly learning, educating on all the technologies. All the partners, all of our partners are kind of beefing up and empowering, improving their solutions and building AI into it. Right, whether it's Yotpo or Orita, you guys are amazing, and many other partners are kind of building up, improving their technologies, staying up to date. Certainly, there's going to be a lot of changes and things are moving quick. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, but as SaaS companies are also concerned because they could be potentially disrupted by AI and such. So, but yeah, we have to be humble and
Right.
we have to what we try to do here at Absolute is really by the way, going back to the people, I want to say one thing is what we try to do here at Absolute is really what we say, our promise, we will do our best to keep it. And this is very important. And actually, I want to give credit to my wife because she took skill. It's called promising. So, she's a Slavic wife where, it's like she tells me, Roman, listen, less talk, more action. I want to see results. So, and I promise. I was like, no, look at the bank account. I want that thing. I want a bank account to grow. So I think I bring that perspective of kind of personal relationship into business because it translates well. When we have conversations and we promise something, we will do our best to keep the promise or not say it because there's so much noise when we speak to the brand or we speak to our
Yeah.
partners. It just, we try to keep it, isolate the noise and really get to the point. But again, I just want to say one thing, and probably you guys really understand is keeping the promise, whatever it may be, the deadline or building functionality. We try to do our best. Sometimes it's very hard, but anyway, I went all over the place. So
This is perfect. Maybe for the last topic, I actually want to talk about like the agency client relationship a little bit.
sure.
Part of you guys being able to deliver is you have the expertise, right? Like you have an awesome team. You can in spirit do anything, but you also need the brand to be committed.
Yeah,
Where are the places where maybe a brand falls short a little bit? Is it like executive alignment where it's like the VP of e-commerce is all in, but the CFO isn't thinking that way, or the CEO and the like are there issues with brand alignment? What I'm trying to tease out for you is like, if I'm running a brand right now, how do I make sure that my team is able to get the absolute, sorry to use the word absolute, but like the absolute most out of a partnership like with you guys? Like what are the conditions that I need to set?
sure, sure. So, well, bigger brands or enterprises have this challenge where sometimes people within organization are looking more how to kind of, unfortunately, yeah, I'm not saying everyone, but we're all humans and they're more focused on how to please their boss rather than add value to the company, what's best for the company. So it's about, let me just do my best to make a pretty report for my superiors. So I think the challenge is really for brands to communicate internally and make sure everybody is aligned what's important for the brand, and really, like I said, really isolate the noise and deliver results and kind of whatever the goal of the brand is. So the challenge that we have as well, working with larger brands, larger teams, is really getting, not only pleasing them, our point of contact, but actually getting the value for the company, for the brand. So it's a constant challenge, and we try to do our best. And it's not easy keeping everyone happy, and that's why I have cookies.
I mean, is this it, man? Is that the
Yeah.
secret? Like, we just need
That
better
is
sweets?
not only cookies. I mean, I have more stuff. I mean,
Hold on. Wait,
this is the kind of stuff that we have every day
Roman,
in the office. I listen. The health
I
and
live so
wellness
far from
folks,
you. This is not
and
fair.
wellness folks are going to be upset at me, but listen, yeah, I don't do any drugs. I don't smoke. I just eat sweets to handle
I
with stress.
do
Not the best
sweets
thing.
until 11, a lot of
Okay.
alcohol between 11 and 2. No,
Okay.
all right, cool. So I don't, doesn't mess up my sleep, guys. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Roman, this is great. It is making me reflect on how, like, we have an awesome team. We are completely remote, and I deeply miss the in-office experience, and your point about sharing a lunch. And I know it
Yes.
sounds really silly, but like everything we've talked about during this
Yes.
conversation and everything I know about you guys is really the connectivity. And I think you guys exude it externally too. And so you're doing something right. I don't know what it is. It may just be chocolate, but I deeply appreciate how connected you guys are.
Yes, thank you. And I did want to mention that a lot of people here in the office in Miami have known each other for years. So
Yeah.
they're not only work associates, they spend time together outside the office. So it's really kind of a small, kind of an extended family vibe here, and it is important. And we try to get, do a full team. Not everyone is in the office. We do have some remote folks, and we try to do retreats. We have done several in Portugal. So Portugal is amazing. You
Roman,
got
is this a recruiting call? This is feeling, I'm like, oh, okay.
Listen, I do take credit. I get a lot of compliments. We do have some of the best lunches every single
There
day.
it
It's
is.
complimentary to all team members. We build out a special lunchroom, big lunchroom. I think it's important, really. It's important to have a good time. We spend so much time together here, so much of our time, 8, 10 hours a day, whatever. And we try to do our best.
Roman, thank you for spending time. We got a minute left. I wanted to give you space if there's anything else you wanted to share, but also, I know a lot of companies are interested in partnering with you guys. Where can folks find you or Absolute Web?
Well, our website, absoluteweb.com, is best place. Let's have a conversation, see us at any events. I mean, we're doing a lot of events around the country, and let's have a conversation, no pressure. And we try to see if we can be helpful. If we're not, we're very transparent, because we wanted to work for long term. So
Love it.
there's a lot more I didn't say. I had notes. Oh my God. I had so much notes, but I was actually the one to say, let's do 30 minutes, because I didn't want to do any crazy jokes of mine. And I did really well, by the way.
You did
So
great.
you guys got lucky, because if I didn't get much sleep, I overate heavily last night, so I didn't get much
Great.
sleep. So I'm a little low energy. If I were in my normal, I'm just giving you a warning. I would, there would be some
I'm
really,
bringing you back next time when you're well
okay.
rested.
Thank you.
Roman, thank you. This was a pleasure. Appreciate all the insights and you taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, and wishing you best. We'll be in touch.
Hi, I'm Aaron Schwartz, co-founder and co-CEO of Orita.ai. We build AI customer segmentation for some of Klaviyo's biggest brands like Oriana, Spanx, Caraway, Third Love, True Classic, Run Beauty, and on and on. Brands come to us to help find untapped revenue, improve their click rate, drive away mean bots, and a bunch more. You can learn more or get a free customer engagement audit at Orita.ai.